Hey lovelies, today we're going to do a Yin Yoga pose called Winged Dragon. This pose works on the outer rotation of our hips as well as the front hip flexors. It is a beautiful pose to use after you've done maybe a long day of sitting, or if you're not too flexible in the hips and you're really aiming to get that increased range of motion. I've got two blocks here that are really good to start using when you're first practicing the pose. So we'll get straight into it. This is one of those poses that you want to move gradually into. You don't want to start and go straight for the full expression of it. So we're going to begin on our hands and knees. And we're going to bring our left leg forward to the outer side of that left arm. You want your knee to be in line with the ankle. And you're going to start to walk that back leg back. So you'll feel the stretch coming to the front of this hip. And you're going to stay here for a couple of breaths. Just allowing yourself to move into it gently. We're then going to start to drop our left knee out, coming onto the blade of that left foot. Just letting it go as far as you can start to feel comfortable, so that you're going to be here for quite a few breaths. So you want to make sure that you're not feeling the stretch too intensely, but you're still starting to feel something. And notice where you're feeling the stretch the most. Is at the front of this hip flexor that's stopping you from going deeper into it. Taking an inhale. You may wish to use the blocks at this point, just to increase that range of motion in the upper body. If this feels okay, you can start to slowly lower down. Taking 3 inhales and exhales. And if this feels good to you, you may want to come into the full expression. So dropping your forearms down to the mat and letting your chest start to melt downwards. Once you've found your variation of the pose that feels good for you, you're going to stay in it for 9 deep, mindful breaths. Inhaling for a count of 4 and exhaling for a count of 4. Notice any tension that may be creeping in to your body. Can you release and not fight the pose, but let your body gently come into it? Taking 2 more deep breaths in, and then slowly moving out of the pose, gently coming back up onto our hands, letting that sole of that left foot find the mat. We're going to rock backwards, straightening that front leg, sweeping that knee behind us. We're just going to come to sit, bringing our head to the mat in a very gentle child's pose. Hands find your side. Just pausing here, letting everything settle back down. We're going to do that pose on the other side now. So once you feel ready, slowly coming back up. Again, finding our tabletop pose. And this time drawing the right leg up to the front of the mat, outside of that right foot. Walking that left leg back now until you start to feel that stretch. And again, you can bring those blocks in. Just letting yourself move slowly and with ease into the pose. As with all yin poses, we want to try and find stillness once we reach our final pose shape. So once you feel good, you're going to start to open that right leg out, coming onto the outer blade of the right foot. We're going to move our props away, coming onto our hands, pausing, letting yourself melt into the pose. And then slowly working your way down onto your forearms. Notice if one side felt a bit easier than the other, and just make any adjustments you may need. You could even put those blocks underneath your forearms if that feels a little bit more comfortable for you. Use the props as much as you need to help you find that stretch in the right place. So get your alignment correct and then go into that stillness. Trying not to move now, just following the breath. Inhales and exhale. Notice if any tension's creeping into your body. Can you release it and allow your attention to go back to the breath? Following it in and out like a gentle wave. Taking 2 more breaths. And then gently coming back out of the pose, using your hands to support the upper body. Knee comes back to straight. Tucking that knee behind your back. We're just going to make our way onto our bellies, stacking our hands one on top of each other. Let your forehead rest down. Give those hips a wiggle and release all the tension in your body. Just let yourself be supported, relaxed. No tension or stress held anywhere. Taking one more breath and then ever so gently coming up. We'll meet in Sukhasana, our easy cross-legged pose. And finish with our prayer for compassion, bringing our hands to our heart space. We raise them to our third eye for compassion in our thoughts. We bring them to our lips for compassion in the words we speak, both internally to ourselves and externally to others. We bring them to our heart space for compassion in the actions we choose to take as we walk our journey every day. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be happy and free, and may my thoughts, my words, and my actions contribute in some way to that happiness and freedom for all. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Yin Yoga Pose. I hope you found it helpful, and if you're wanting to introduce some Yin into your life, I suggest doing the poses around 2 to 3 times a week, just making sure that you slowly work up to that whole time. So you want to start with around 2 minutes, and then over the course of a month or 2 months, slowly start working up to 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes, depending on the pose and the intensity of it. I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you.